Good afternoon. I thought we had a good day out there today. Another physical practice. More hitting than usual on a game week once you get into the season, because I think it's the only way you can really gauge how well you're defending what they do on offense. Questions?
What's your gauge so far from the extra hitting and how well they're doing?
I'm pleased. Yeah, I'm pleased. I think there's a lot of focus out there, and it's going to take us all the way till game time to be ready, because you're trying to simulate what a team does, and they're the best in the world at what they do. So, I thought the offensive scout team was a little bit better today. I thought the defense was a little bit better today. I put Martin and Hicks over there to be the slot backs. I think that gave us a little bit more of a real-time look at the speed with which they run their offense. So I think that was good for the defense to see it.
Kyle, what is it about, I know there are scheme things, but what is it about Lorenzo Waters' skill set that has allowed him to have some pretty good games against these triple option teams?
He's disciplined, he's smart, and he's a good tackler. If you've got those three things, you've got a chance. And he's an important guy for sure this week.
How do you prepare the defensive lineman for the cut blocking?
We have a series of drills that we do, and then we do it. We do it all week in practice, so we don't say that we're going to get it on Saturday. And like I said, they'll get a little bit better at doing it as we go through the week. But in most weeks we wouldn't be on the ground during the week, but this is a week where we have to. You have to cut, you have to tackle, you have to do all those things just to get ready. And there's some risk involved, but if you don't do it, you won't be ready. That's it. There's no risk if you don't do it because you won't be ready.
We talked about how important special teams are to you, but when you guys have such a history of blocking punts, what does it come down to? What do you guys actually do better than pretty much anybody else, I guess?
It really comes down to, I think, two things. One, we spend a lot of time game planning it. So we invest a lot of time on the front end in it. And we have a group of players that really believe they're going to block the kick every time. Because to me, the key or the trick to it is, or the magic to it is, everybody who lines up on that play has to believe they're going to be the one who's going to block the kick. And then if they do, you've got a chance to get a guy free. But if the guy coming free is the one guy on the team who doesn't think he's going to block it, he's not going to get there, because you're talking about millimeters of a difference between blocking a kick and not blocking it. So I'm pleased that we've been able to block a few this year so far, and we're going to continue to go after it because it's what we do.
So it's safe to say there's a lot more scheming than maybe just meets the eye when people think it's everyone just going for broke.
Oh yeah, it's not just everybody running up the field. There's a lot of scheme involved in it.
In the past, guys like Pat Kivlahan as a third safety kind of had a lot of success against these option teams. What have you seen during this week from Davon and from Delon? How do you feel about them going into Saturday?
Sure, Davon, Delon, John Aiken. I would say all three of those guys going into the game have embraced their role for the game, because it's different. It's a different week. It's a different role, and I think a guy like Pat Kivlahan really embraced his role on these weeks and became a very valuable piece of the puzzle in our defense. And I think those three guys have embraced it too. That's the first thing. If you embrace the role, then you'll study the details. If you study the details, you have a chance to play with speed. And if you have a chance to play with speed, you've got a chance to make the plays.
What have you liked about Aiken and how he's improved this year going into the senior year?
I think John's a more disciplined player than he's ever been. And when you're a senior, you always need your seniors to play their best football, and I think John is doing that for us, both on special teams and on defense. But I think he's a more disciplined player this year than he's been in the past. I think that's helping us.
No longer could be kind of back in the middle of this week, but how do you feel through 3 games that change has gone?
I think it's been good. I think it's been good. I'm pleased with the way Steve's playing. I think he'll continue to improve in the same ways that Kasim continued to improve, really all the way through his career. So, Steve will have 3 years instead of 2, but I'm pleased with the way he's improving right now.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Navy's offense. What about their defense? You mentioned they have a lot of veteran guys. Your offensive line obviously struggled a little bit last game. How can they get back on track against this defense?
Sure, we got to do a better job blocking. We got to do a really good job communicating this week. Coach Green, their defensive coordinator, has been there for quite some time. I coached against him in 2003. He may have been there before that even, but he's been there for a long time. And they're a multiple front defense. So they're going to play odd fronts, they're going to play even fronts. They've got pressures out of both. So you got to do a great job of communicating, identifying, and then ultimately playing with great effort, because their players are going to play with great effort.
How close do you feel you're in the return game, punts and kickoffs, getting what you want?
I don't feel like we've had a lot of opportunities to bring them out. It's kickoffs going into the end zone. That's a tricky question, because do I feel like we're close? I do. I watched the film, but being close on a kickoff return is like being miles away. If you're 1 block away, well, you could be a different block away on another kickoff return. So it takes all 11 guys working together. Here's what I am pleased with. I'm pleased with Josh Hicks right now as the off returner. I think he's done a good job, both when the ball's been kicked to him and when he's been the lead blocker for Janarian. And that guy's an important guy in this scheme because he has an assignment, but he's also got a cleanup responsibility in case something else leaks through. So I'm pleased with his improvement on the year so far. I think that'll give us a chance to get one here as we continue to go forward.
Coach, what is it like to have Kenny Crixie healthy, and what's it like to have him in your program?
Another senior, another guy who has played a lot of football here, tremendous experience, very physically gifted. So all those things are important. Allows us to bring the younger players along maybe just a little bit slower than they would have to if we didn't have Kenny. So no doubt a valuable guy. And anytime your seniors play at a high level, your team gets better.
Punter game time decision?
Tim Gleason will start the game at punter.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.